India. A vibrant, bustling world, home to over 1 billion people. But if you know where to look, the most spectacular wildlife, ancient cultures, and extreme landscapes can be found. I'm Liz Bonin. I'm here to explore India's spectacular wildlife in one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. I've spent years studying wildlife, but every time I return to India, I discover something new. I completely underestimated how extraordinary and eye-opening this is going to be. Actor Frida Pinto was born here. She wants to share the remarkable bond between India's people and the natural world.
You always see that there is a connection between man and animal.
And from the highest peaks on Earth, mountaineer John Gupta explores India's most extreme landscapes.
My passion is mountains, and there is nowhere in the world like the Himalayas.
We're traveling the length and breadth of this subcontinent to reveal the hidden wonders of India's natural world. These are...
Legend has it that the inhabitants of these islands were urged to learn how to make these masks by a voice from the Brahmaputra itself. The masks have a spiritual purpose. These characters are from the story I'm to be shown. The Ramayana is not just one of the most important books in the Hindu religion, it's one of the best-known stories in the whole of India. It's the story of Ram and his battle with the demon Ravan, who is after his wife Sita. Here, Sita is being captured. The vulture Jatayu tries to save her. The demon king kills the vulture and runs off with Sita. But in the story, it is Ram who triumphs, thanks to the help of the animal kingdom, especially the monkey army, led by the nimble Hanuman. These legends have been a part of our culture for centuries. Like millions of other Indians, they were a central part of my childhood. This constant telling and retelling of stories, when nature helps overcome adversity, reminds us of the importance of the animals that surround us.
And I want to say thank you so much for this wonderful performance. This was absolutely wonderful to bring it to life. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Thank you. Thank you.
From a man-made spectacle to one that was created 40 million years ago. To my mind, these are India's greatest marvel of all, the Himalayas. I've climbed throughout the Himalayas in Nepal and Central Asia, but never before in India. The reason I wanted to come here is that my grandfather was born in the foothills of these mountains. Though he left India for Britain, this vast landscape was the backdrop to his childhood. Finally, I have the chance to come and explore it for myself. The higher I climb, the thinner the air gets. It means I can only ever visit these heights for a short period. At these altitudes, everything is difficult, even breathing. But all around me, there are animals that have made this place their home. To stay in their world for any length of time I would need to use specialist clothing and equipment. I want to learn about animals that have perfectly adapted to life amongst these peaks. To see them, I've had to come to just below the snow line. These are tahr. There's a reason I want to see them in action. I've heard this goat is the ultimate mountain animal. Anywhere. Life in these mountains lives on a knife edge. There's very little room for error.
Take this rocks and grass tumbling down the rock face.
Tahr eat grass, herbs and leaves, but food is a scarce commodity up here. By climbing, they can get to vegetation that no other animal can access.
I can barely walk to it.
I can't believe it. There are now 2 families descending the cliff. Even the youngest tahr takes this in its stride.
And I just wonder at what point the mother stands at the top of a cliff as big as this, at least 300 or 400 metres high, looks over and just says, yes, I think it's about time that you, my tiny, tiny little tahr, come down this rock face with me and off you go.
I can't help but be impressed at the agility and the dexterity of the tahr. It's a perfect example of how India's wildlife has adapted to live in even the most inhospitable places.
The sheer size of India means there are many extreme habitats for wildlife. I've traveled a short way down the Brahmaputra to Kaziranga National Park, 160 square miles of grassland. I'm here to see India's longest-running conservation success story, India's rhinoceros, the one-horned rhino. And this is the best way to get close to one.
So this is quite early in the morning, and the elephants is our chosen mode of transportation.
I'm riding with wildlife cameraman Sandesh Kadur. He spent a lifetime studying the rhinos.
We're gonna hopefully spot these rhinos today.
Well, where we are, Kaziranga is one of the best places to see the one-horned rhino.
Right.
It has half the world's population right here.
Okay.
But we do have to look for them.
Okay.
As we enter the grass, I'm desperate for my first glimpse of this rare beast.
Look at that, look at that.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Oh, we're very close to this guy.
Oh, yeah. This is probably one of the best rhino sightings I've had in a long time. Now you can see how big the rhino is.
Because I've never seen a one-horned rhino before. This is literally my first time.
The rhinoceros conservation story goes back over 100 years. Kaziranga was created in 1905 when habitat destruction and hunting had brought rhino numbers in India crashing to just 10 or so. Since then, these protected lands have helped numbers rise. There are now over 2,000 here. People come from all over the world to see them.
They've got very, very small eyes. They're practically blind.
Rhinos have bad eyesight, but good hearing. Their ears swivel at the slightest sound to locate danger. When threatened, these massive beasts can charge at up to 30 miles per hour.
Oh my God, he's had a little bit of a fight. He's got a gash. See, that's how delicate the skin is. Any little thing punctures it and wounds it. It looks like armor, but it's actually very, very soft.
Really?
And another little tidbit, they get sunburned very quickly.
Oh.
In summer, temperatures approach 40 degrees. The rhinos take to the water to cool down. Their skin gets covered in ticks and mites. The rhino relies on myna birds and egrets to pick the parasites from those hard-to-reach places.
So what do you feel like, your first rhino?
My first rhino experience. I actually am oh, this is beautiful. It makes you emotional, right? Like just to be in the presence of these wild animals. For me, that was the most beautiful thing. It's a real privilege.
Just as we're about to leave, Sandesh spots an unbelievable treat.
Oh, look at that. Baby rhino.
Just a baby rhino. Oh, how old do you think that
Oh, this is a newborn, hardly 2 months old. This is incredible.
God, we're so lucky. We actually see the mother and this baby.
That's right.
This is a rare sight. Rhinos only have a single calf every 3 years. But this is a sign of the continued health of the rhino program here in Kaziranga.
Incredible.
You could have asked for more.
Once, rhinos were found all across the northern plains, but poaching threatened their very existence. Thanks to over 100 years of protection in this park, numbers are on the increase. There are now over 3,000 of them in the wild. Over half live in these protected lands.
Rama agreed, and so the sea god granted him passage to Sita. And as a thank you, Rama turned the dried out sea into a fertile desert. The most barren part is the Rann of Kutch. This is the home of an animal that is a true natural wonder of India. It's able to call this baking furnace home. It's the only place in the world where you'll find the Indian wild ass. In the most arid parts of the Rann of Kutch, the wild ass ekes out an almost impossible existence, surviving on the little nourishment available in the sparse scrub that grows there. This is one of the hottest places in India. Temperatures peak at almost 50 degrees Celsius. Living year-round in this relentless heat, the Indian wild ass is one of the hardiest animals in the world. It has had to adapt to survive. Rain comes for just a few months of the year. When the surface water dries up, the Indian wild ass gets the hydration it needs from eating the scrubby plants that draw their moisture from the ground. But it's not the only animal that lives here. At certain times of the year, wolves and hyenas will enter the desert too. To evade these predators, the Indian wild ass has a special talent. It's one of the fastest animals in India, with a top speed of 50 miles an hour. Every aspect of their lives is driven by water. The brief rains turn the plains into green marshland. Mating is timed so that foals will be born into this period of relative plenty. Females make it very clear if they don't think it's the right time to mate. Living in a place of such extremes, the Indian wild ass is a perfect example of the resilience of India's wildlife in a hostile landscape.
From a land of baking heat, it is just 600 miles north to one of frozen ice. The Himalayas are home to the greatest quantity of freshwater ice outside of the poles. It gives the mountains their empty, barren appearance. But that's deceptive. Everything here is alive. The Himalayas are still growing. Even though they are the highest mountains on Earth, they are actually the youngest. In geological terms, at just 40 million years old, they are mere infants. As the land masses they sit on continue their slow-motion collision, the Himalayas gradually rise.
It's mind-boggling to think that this is still taking place today and that the Himalayas are growing by a few centimetres each year.
For me, life in these mountains is simply on a different scale from the world below.
Having spent a lot of my time living in these high mountains, it's clear to me that these mountains are very much alive. Last year I was on a high camp on a mountain just near Everest, and I took the day off to rest. And as I spent the day sat there watching the mountains, I couldn't help feel that they were also breathing with me. In the morning, it's clear, crystal clear, and through the duration of the day, clouds come up the valleys and disperse into the big hills. And then later on in the afternoon, when the temperatures start to plummet, the clouds do the opposite. They then descend back into the valleys and slowly dissipate back away, leaving us clear again. And as I watched these clouds, I couldn't help but feel that these mountains had taken an entire day just to take one full breath.
But even giants need help. In the Himalayas, it comes in the form of one of the smallest inhabitants, the pika. I want to see how this tiny creature plays a vital role in the life of them. Sahas Bhave studies the animals of these mountains.
Oh, there's one right there. It's...
Ah, yes, yeah. Ah, they are quite
sitting. Yeah, they are.
Pika are known locally as the friendly mouse, but they are actually part of the rabbit family. Their hopping run is the giveaway.
You can definitely see that it's like part of the rabbit family.
Yeah.
It runs like a rabbit.
I know, yeah.
Pika do not hibernate. During the winter, they make burrows under the snow and under the rocks. In spring, the tunnels they create become drainage channels, dispersing the meltwater. Through the winter, pika live off food they have gathered in the short summer.
Pikas live below the snow in the winters. First of all, they have this big cache of food in their burrow. But if they need to get to another cache, they have paths under the snow.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Their activity disperses the seeds of many plants. Their food stores and drop-ins become fertilizer. And because they are active year-round, they are one of the few sources of food for predators in the winter.
Pikas are really vital to the Himalayan system because not only do they aerate the soil, which helps the grass grow, but they're also a really key prey species for a bunch of animals like weasels and martens and foxes and eagles.
Without these busy creatures, the Himalayas would be a very different place. This vast landscape owes so much to such a tiny creature. This is truly a force of nature.
I just sat here, I'm getting buffeted by the wind and absolutely drenched.
The waters cut paths through the Himalayan rock, shaping this landscape. But these waters do not yet carry the name Ganges. Each time one river joins another, it's marked as a holy place. These sacred confluences are called prayags. The most important of all is here.
This place is called Dev Prayag, and it means God's confluence. These two rivers either side of me coming together just here to start the beginning of the river Ganges.
It is a lifelong ambition of every Hindu to bathe in the Ganges. The water here is holy, and people come from all around the country to swim here to purify their soul and get rid of their sins. So I think I should give it a go too. It's pretty chilly, but it's actually incredibly refreshing and it feels wonderful. This is how Indians prepare for a journey, by washing. For Hindus, the Ganges connects India's past and present.
They're almost like wild elephants. When they're not working, they're free to roam. It provides a wonderful example of the quality that bonds people to the wildlife here: respect.
Respect is something you have to show when entering India's mountains too. Many of the wonders that India offers vary with the seasons. Spring in the Himalayas is a time when shepherds bring their flocks to high-altitude pastures. As the sun warms the hillsides and temperatures rise to 30 degrees, a unique valley bursts into life. It lies hidden amongst India's tallest peaks. Over there is India's second highest mountain, Nanda Devi. It is believed to be the home to Shiva's wife, Parvati. The name Nanda Devi means goddess of bliss. The peaks that surround the mountain are said to protect her. They also conceal a hidden wonder few have been able to witness. Roads towards it can be washed away, and it takes days of trekking to reach it. In winter, it's snowbound. But in spring, when the snows retreat, this valley is unique. Rolling meadows of alpine blooms. This is the Valley of Flowers. From June to September, around 500 species of wildflower bloom here. 33 square miles of them. Orchids, poppies, primulas, marigold, daisies, and anemones. A cacophony of colour carpeting slopes that are 3,600 metres above sea level. Many of the plants are endemic to these mountains. As with so much of India's natural world, there's a Hindu legend associated with the creation of this valley. Herbs found here save the life of the god Rama's brother. To celebrate, the gods showered flowers from heaven, giving the valley its unique appearance. This place of Hindu legend is now a World Heritage Site. But this hidden treasure was not easily revealed to the world outside India. Expeditions tried to reach it, but the valley remained hidden until 1931, when 3 British mountaineers stumbled across it, returning from an expedition. They wrote, "Others will visit it, analyse it and probe it. But whatever their opinions, to me it will remain a valley of flowers. A valley of peace and perfect beauty, where the human spirit may find repose."
From unexpected alpine blooms to the animal everyone associates with India. One that has always carried with it a deep cultural significance. The tiger is the guardian of the forest. He created the rains, regenerates life, brings fertility. No other animal has quite so much attributed to it. And perhaps that's because, unlike much of her wildlife, tigers can be found across almost the whole of India. India has 48 tiger reserves, but the tiger is... It's no secret that I'm somewhat obsessed with tigers, and there is nothing like seeing one in the wild. But when it comes to emulating the spirit of the tiger, South India is the place to be. Southern India is home to a spectacular celebration, the Puli Kali, the tiger dance. As someone who is so passionate about tigers, I simply have to see it. No one's quite sure how this local tradition started, but some say it began over 200 years ago when a Maharaja wanted a dance to celebrate the spirit of the wild. And there's no animal that embodies that better for Indians than the tiger. So, how many painters in total get the honor of making these wonderful works of art?
25, 30 people are there.
Just 30? And how long have you been doing it?
Yeah.
How many years?
I will 10 years.
10?
Yeah.
10 years. And is it difficult? When you started, was it like, oh...
It's shaking, body shaking. That's the control.
A wobbly belly. And do you develop your own style to be distinct from the other artists?
It's our style, this portion.
So this is different to the other mouth because...
The composing, that,
So you make the mouth bigger. I knew the belly was important. The bigger the belly, the better the tiger. I even get the chance to have a go myself. It's so beautifully done that I don't want to let the side down. Get to paint a tiger on someone's belly. We're performing in the grounds of a temple, so it's important that we receive a blessing before going ahead with the dance. Limbered up, painted up, looking the part. I think we're ready for the dance. I've seen tigers hunt, I've seen them prowl, but I've never seen them quite like this. The dance is a seasonal event, performed once a year at the Harvest Festival of Onam around the beginning of September. The biggest can have up to 900 dancers, and they can dance for hours on end. I fell under the spell of the tiger on my first visit to India. The female I set eyes on then had such an impact on me that when I returned home, I took up my studies in wild animal biology. Tigers have been part of my life ever since. They're clearly a part of the lives of these dancers too. That was incredible. It's just so lovely to see so much dedication, so much passion, so much energy in a dance like this. And when you think the tiger, you know, is on the brink of extinction, it's so heartwarming to see people who are so dedicated to revering, celebrating and protecting the tiger here. Brilliant. This is a celebration with animals at its heart. And finally, there may be real cause for celebration. Some studies are reporting that tiger numbers seem to be recovering.
Back in the northeast of the country, I've come to a land that is famous for its climate throughout India. A place I've known about since I was a 7-year-old schoolgirl, Meghalaya.
When I was in school in India, I learned about this little town in the northeast of India in the state of Meghalaya called Cherrapunji. And the interesting fact of this place was that it rained almost every day of the year.
My geography textbook would proudly tell me that Cherrapunji holds the world record for most rain in a calendar month. Over 30 feet. Cherrapunji can get more rain in a month than Britain gets in a year. Of course, it doesn't rain every day, but this is a land carved out by water, full of chasms and raging torrents. You'd think that no one could live here, but Indians have always worked with nature, using what is available to overcome obstacles. So this is home to a wonder that dates back hundreds of years, yet is still in daily use. Living bridges made from the roots of trees.
By the way, this is one single tree. Not just this, and this. One single tree. It's hard to believe, right?
The trees are fig trees, chosen because of the way they produce a series of secondary roots from higher up the trunk. These act as added supports for the trunk. The roots grow quickly, taking hold in thin soil and around rocks. They are ideal trees for these bridges. There are quite simply more roots to use.
I don't think I've seen anything like this before. This is probably one of the most spectacular things nature has ever shown. It's shown to me. Don't think I have stood on a bridge that is made out of roots of a tree that is 400 years old. In Meghalaya, you have these root bridges almost everywhere, and it was actually grown by man in order to overcome the challenge of crossing the raging rivers, the raging torrents, to get from one place to the other, for trade, for example. Unlike the bridges I know of, it is a very, very strong bridge, and it's only going to get stronger in time.
As the tree grows, the roots that form the bridge get thicker and stronger. New roots are used to maintain the bridge. This skill may be ancient, but the local villagers still use it to maintain old bridges and even grow new ones. It's a skill they proudly pass on to the younger generation. Like Baskam Walang, who grew up in the local village and was taught by the elders.
Baskam, my friend, I hear you're an expert at training the roots of these living bridges. How long have you been doing this for?
I've been in not less than 5-6 years. I learned from the villagers. And first of all, the people have to plant the tree first. Okay. And when the roots come out, that means they just train the roots to come on the other side of the river.
So, one minute, you said they plant the tree first?
Yes.
They don't just pick a tree that already would probably have the roots that they could train?
No.
That's a lot of dedication. Okay, so they plant the tree, the roots start growing. Then what's the next phase? What do they do next?
They direct it by putting this betel nut trunk.
So this is a betel nut trunk?
Yeah, this is a betel nut trunk.
And because it's hollow, it's useful to pass the roots. Wow, that's interesting. So these are betel nut trees.
Yeah, that's
right
one
there,
betel
right?
nut trunk, yeah.
By using betel nut trunks to train the roots in the right direction, the structure of the bridge is brought to life. It takes skill, but most of all, it takes patience.
And how long does it take for it to become
Maybe
this?
around 10-15 years it'll become.
Wow. Maybe then I should try one, right?
Yeah, you can do it.
So, let's take the thin one, like this one's good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Keep inside.
keep it inside. All the way through, right?
Yeah, all the way through.
Okay. That's safe and secure now?
Yeah.
Okay, 10 years. I'll be back in 10 years.
These bridges have been a vital part of what's known locally as the betel nut trade. It's ground into a powder called pan and chewed, a delicacy of the northeast that reached the rest of India thanks to these bridges. But there's something puzzling me about this particular bridge.
I wondered why they needed 2 bridges. It took 400 years to train and grow the first one, so why spend another 200, 300 years to build a second one? Well, simply because in the monsoon season, which is June to October, the lower part of the bridge is actually fully submerged. It's underwater. And if you think about the force of the water during the monsoons, the bridge still survives. The bridge still stands strong and just gets stronger in time. But of course, the people of these villages needed the second bridge to continue their day-to-day activities. Another important fact to know is that none of this has been written down. It's just been passed on by word of mouth through family traditions. But for all that you know, this could possibly be even 1,000 years old. You don't know. You just know that it's very old.
This has been extraordinary. To see how inventive people are, how they work with nature to create solutions, has been incredible.
From the far reaches of the north to the very south of India, for the last of our natural wonders. An iconic bird of the rainforest with an extraordinary breeding behavior. The best time to see it is in the spring.
The crack of dawn, and we've come to a coffee plantation to try and spot one of the most iconic, bizarre, and spectacular birds of the rainforest. And just as we were walking up this track, we spotted the male that's now in that tree just ahead of me.
The bird I'm here to see is the great pied hornbill. Hornbills make a special nest. To protect their eggs, they choose a hollow in a tree. The female is sealed up using dung. She'll stay there for 4 months. Twice a day, the male will bring food for her and their young. Hornbills mate for life. Their nests can be hard to find, unless you've been studying them for 15 years, like Divya Mudappa.
They're such big birds. I mean, I knew they were big, but when you see them with your own eyes, look at that. Their colorings are impossibly perfect for something natural. The shadings of yellow and then the black and white feathers, they're just so beautiful. He's on the move. To the nest. He's going to go across to the nest. Does he have food in his bill?
In his gullet.
In his gullet?
Yeah.
So he regurgitates it for the female?
That's right, yeah.
I don't even need the binoculars. He's so big once he flies over.
Their wingspan can fully extend to 5 feet. Each nest will normally contain 1 or 2 young. They're not born with the distinctive casques on their bills. These take about 5 years to fully develop. The bright yellow color looks artificial, but it comes from a preen gland secretion, which the male spreads onto its primary feathers, giving them their distinctive color. The male brings all sorts of fruits to the nest, but he'll also seek out small insects and other flying creatures. This one even has a bat in its beak.
I can see the bill of the female. They close up the entrance.
That's right.
To protect from predators.
That's right.
That's something else, isn't it? She doesn't get to stretch her wings for like months.
In fact, she might molt when she's sitting in there and get a new set of feathers.
That's dedication for you. This really unusual growth on top of the bill. It's hollow, it's very lightweight. It's made of hollow cells supported by 2 walls. And it acts as an amplification chamber so that when they call in the forest, the sound travels even further. And just before mating season, sometimes you'll see males butting or clashing their castes together in midair so that they can win the female. And it makes for their name, the hornbill, and there's no question it's quite a bizarre structure. These magnificent birds are often called the gardeners of the rainforest because they play such a vital role in the ecosystem as seed dispersers. They feed on so many of the fruit trees around the forest, and as they fly, they drop all of the seeds all across the landscape. Oh, I can't get enough of his head. The unusual casque, the shape of the beak, the shadings. They're such stunning creatures. Oh, he's off.
So
the sound of the wings through the forest at dawn. I mean, there's nothing more glorious, is there?
yes, no, my hair stands on end every time I hear it.
I got complete shivers as he soared across the sky.
This is a land that seems to have it all. From the unexpected lions of the Gir forest, and the people's intimate connection with the animals that live here, to the magnificent Himalayas that shape both the landscape and its life. These are the natural wonders of India. And we've only just scratched the surface. Next time.
That's extraordinary.
It makes you emotional, right?
It just literally popped out of the hole, and it's just lovely to watch.
Beautiful female behind me. This is unbelievable.
See you later. The wonders of India. Okay. Okay, 1,